Hello and welcome back to Ion Radio. I'm John,
And I'm Ken.
and today is our second broadcast that we're doing.
That's right.
Um, so this is being filmed on New Year's Day 2026. So happy New Year's to everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. John, did you stay up late drinking champagne or did you do what I did and try and go to sleep early?
Oh, I was in bed early. I haven't, I, the only time that I've been awake in recent years for New Year's celebration is when I'm working night shift and was having to be up anyway. Otherwise, I just go to bed. New Year's is honestly one of those holidays that I don't care too much about. So we were in bed. So my wife and we stayed up and we watched the finale of Stranger Things. And then as soon as that was over, poof, right into bed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No spoilers. We might talk about it in a future episode, but Ken needs to catch up and it's just way too new for everyone when it was only released like 12 hours ago, roughly 12, 13, 14 hours ago. So, yeah. So this month an episode's going to be a little bit lighter because it was the holiday season and we typically try to take off a couple weeks in December because everyone's going to be spending time with their family. They're not going to be wanting to watch YouTube. So we usually just skip a couple weeks. But we had a couple videos in there. Ken and I have both been busy in the background. So how was your holiday um, weeks, Ken?
Well, I mean, I think John was pretty good. Surprisingly, you and I saw each other more often than I think we were expecting, just with random stop bys and whatnot. Because I know I stopped by your place to drop off some X for Aces, which I know you'll talk about later. So I'll let you do that later. But it was good to spend time with family. We did a bunch of for Thanksgiving, and then here we are at Christmas. Family was over, went over to my brother's house for Christmas. I got all kinds of fun little toys. Nothing really big channel wise, but we always get our toys and whatnot. Big thing and huge shout out to my wife for this one. I got a telescope, so I can do some really cool stargazing because I love doing that. However, every single night since Christmas has been overcast and cloudy. And the one night where there were a few breaks in the clouds, I finally got the thing set up, aimed at the moon. And I'm like, let me just find a big target just to check it out. Looked through, and as I'm starting to focus, the clouds rolled right over the moon, and I couldn't see squat. So
Uh,
uh,
that's
the
funny.
best I've done is there's a pathway. It's about a quarter mile or so away of a church that had some Christmas lights, so I can confirm the telescope works. But
Oh, geez.
so I'm disappointed in the weather, but I absolutely love the telescope. So uh, I'll have to do that, maybe train it up on Saturn so I can see rings or something like that, just because that would be cool. I really wanted to see this three-eye Atlas comet, extra solar comet that's been flying through and is slowly going away. And actually, I had a really interesting thought on what this might be, John. It's probably the equivalent of Voyager that was sent out from an alien race like half a million years ago and that's just passing by and does nothing. It's just a comet, piece of ice now, you
Is
know.
that because we still have the whales?
Yeah, we still have the whales, so we're safe. We're
Yeah.
safe. So don't kill humpback whales, folks, because Star Trek 4 taught us not to do that. But yeah, no, other than that, it was pretty good. And then, like you said, New Year's. One of the interesting things that is new for me is, my son's 20 and he had his friends come over and they didn't leave until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was up until everyone was gone. So I was sleeping kind of in the chair, like not really sleeping, but sleeping because, you get older, that's what happens. But yeah, it was a good night, good holiday season. What about you, John? Because I'm curious to hear more because you got the little guy.
Yeah, so this is actually one of my, I would say one of my favorite Christmases because he actually knew what was going on. So it's just a really exciting time. Um, he wanted Star Trek things and Star Wars things. I wonder where he got that from. And that's what we got him. So he had been asking for a Romulan warbird for like almost 6+ months. That's what he wanted. So we got him that. Um, so honestly, a lot of the stuff that we got on, we had to get off eBay because they don't produce any of this anymore. So it's that Romulan warbird that's about that big from the era. They had like a Vorcha and they had an Enterprise. I think you used, I have an old one that's kind of junky, but you used it for some of the Into the Unknown slow shots, I believe. Um,
No, that was for the Star Trek Alliance slow
was it
shots,
Alliance? Okay.
which
It was one of
hasn't
the
come
two.
out yet. It was set for the intro sequence for season three, which has not been filmed yet.
Gotcha. But it's about
Spoiler.
that big. So he was super excited about that, and then we've been every day building the little Lego sets because we didn't get him anything big. He's like almost 4, so
Yeah.
we just get him the little stuff, and like I'm training him right in how to make Legos this time because I didn't do this as a kid, and then as an adult I started doing this. So I'm gonna just start the foundation good. You open the package, you sort the pieces. Really important step. Really, really important step, and it's also really important because he's little, so when I say can you find this piece and it's just a pile of pieces, it takes too long. But if you sort them, it still takes a long time because his brain processing it. So sorting it is working out pretty good. So he would sort the pieces and then we would put them together and he's all excited flying the ships around and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. So that's kind of how my last weekish has been, just hanging out, playing with him, still still doing work and then coming home and then building Legos. So it was a lot of fun. Um yeah, nothing nothing else crazy besides that. So do you want to jump into then hobby stuff?
Yeah, let's jump into hobby stuff. So I actually will say that I've been off almost the last 2 weeks now, so it's been nice
Lucky.
just to be at home. That said, the first week was spent cleaning the house and getting ready for people coming over for Christmas. Then it was spent cleaning the house because people came over for Christmas. And now yesterday, I think, and the day before were the first 2 days I got to actually start to relax. And I'm going back to work on Monday. So really, I have 2 weeks off to get a 4 day weekend, which is kind of funny in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Uh, that said, I have been slowly painting up because I know, John, you and I both have a set of aces. I've been painting up my Jade Falcon forces with kind of that Epsilon uh, type color scheme. So a little bit darker instead of the brighter yellows that you use for your guys. So I've been working on that. I've been painting up some extra mechs and some terrain for BattleTech. So we may or may not see some of that in upcoming episodes here on the channel of BattleTech. We will let you know when that time comes up. But I've been having fun doing that. I've been getting Leviathans out onto the table a little bit more just to, kind of get used to that and start playing through that. There's a really cool two campaigns. I've been playing one of them in particular, just by myself, running through, figuring out how the rules work, and it's a lot of fun. So it's something that I want to do more of just for giggles. And then oddball gaming with my brothers and my nieces. So one of my nieces is now 10 and has really gotten into board gaming. So we were playing Carcassonne, we were playing Castle Panic, all these other the early entry level games. So I've got at least one niece who slowly but surely is going to be as horrible as I am with this mess of games behind me and over to my right and over to my left and in front of me and everywhere else. But so that the gamer nerd will continue on for at least another generation, John. But I think
Nice.
outside of that, my wife and I have been playing a couple different deck building games, just passing the time away, having fun. So it's been a gaming holiday this year, which I've really actually appreciated and enjoyed.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. That's pretty cool.
What about you, John?
I've been painting. So I think the last time we talked, this episode, we were saying we were getting aces. but didn't have it yet. And then it came that day
Yeah,
or
it was
something to that effect.
at
So
yeah.
I painted up then here's another fun thing. Just it's
Oh,
just
this story, yeah.
fun, right? So my Aces box got delayed and it was going to be delayed from like Saturday all the way to Wednesday. And we're like, time's ticking. If we have free time now, we need these painted. So I drove over to Ken's house because I had errands to run. I picked up the mechs. I did my errands. I came home and I was about to begin painting those mechs. And the doorbell rings. And there they are. My aces came on time. I didn't need to waste the time to go to Ken's to do it. I could have just stayed at home. Fun. So we got our aces in, and then I had to get the mechs back to Ken so then he could do whatever he wanted to do with them. So it's just the way life works sometimes. It's funny that way.
On
But
the
it wouldn't.
positive side, you primed them for me, so thank you.
You're right. So I have an airbrush. Ken does not. I'm trying to get him an airbrush because I think he would just airbrush makes painting so much faster. At least just the priming, especially when you live in like we live in the Chicagoland area. It's like -10 out right now. There's no way I can go out and do anything with a rattle can. And I still don't like rattle cans, but that's just me. So I painted up all of the Aces mechs as Delta Galaxy Clan Jade Falcon. So if you're on our Discord, you can see the pictures I posted there. If you don't want to join our Discord for some reason, you can also check out on Reddit. I posted them up on Reddit. Um, I think they look really, really good. I'm excited to get to use them. And then over the last like week, Ken and I decided on we each picked like 200 points for our mercenary force for our Aces campaign that we're going to be doing. So we selected that, got all the mechs together. I'm putting the finishing touches of them on today, so I'll have all of those mechs done. So I think we're going to just call it the Ion Raiders after a small mercenary band that we made years and years ago. I modified the paint scheme, but kept it kind of the same. I'm pretty excited for it. They look really, really sick. So I'm excited for that. Other hobby stuff and just stuff in general. So we finished like last week watching Star Trek Generation Next Generation. So my kid has been really enjoying that. So it was a fun experience because I remember watching Star Trek Next Generation with my dad, and that's like one of my first memories, as a little kid watching it. So then watching it with him and him enjoying it has been a blast for me. So I think we're moving on to now Voyager. We're gonna watch some Voyager. Um,
I'm gonna ask a question here, John. With Star Trek Next Generation, this is your first full time through, or your second time through all the episodes of Next Gen now, or have you gone through it more than that?
with him,
No,
one.
just in general. I'm curious. Well,
I'm
yeah,
on like five.
you're on five. Okay, so but first time through with Johnny. So okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so this was probably number five. I've watched a lot of Star Trek. So I think the only series I've watched once through. I've only watched Enterprise once through, and Deep Space Nine maybe once or twice. Voyager at least three times. I want to say Next Generation, I'm on five. Original series twice. We started watching that with him, and then I realized that original series out of all of them is probably the you would think that it would be the most appropriate for a kid because it's older, but it actually isn't because it is very much so that 1960s Twilight Zone, mess with your mind, monster of the week, which I did not expect until I was watching it and he's like, this one's scary. And then you watch the
You
next one, he's
also
like, this one's scary too.
you got to remember that that was also to an extent used as a commentary, political commentary for the 1960s. So there's a lot of parallels. If you could take certain episodes, go back and look at what was happening in history at the time, and then how Star Trek is trying to frame that. Um, but yeah,
That's all Star Trek though.
but it was very apparent in the original series.
Yes, but it's more of a the monster of the week problem that
That
it was
yeah,
scaring him compared to like Next Generation or Voyager. So,
the cloud monster in Operation Annihilate was a little too much for him.
I don't know if we got that far. I'm trying to think
Okay.
of what episode. We only watched like four episodes. He likes the characters, but
Nah,
every episode he's like, "This is a little scary," and
do
um,
the cartoon.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do that after Voyager or just the thing. Um, and then also with the hobby stuff, I was watching a random video and someone in it said that Gundams don't need glue. And I was curious by that because when I think of Gundams, they're like these giant robots and people spend a ton of time on them and things like that. I'm like, what do you mean they don't need glue? So then I actually looked into Gundam model kits because I was just curious. And they don't. They are snap fit together, which is insane. Um, so I watched a bunch of videos on that and I'm like, maybe I should try that. And the problem with that is that I actually really liked it. Give me a sec. So I went to a store in that near us that sells like Gundam models. And Gundam models aren't actually expensive as I thought they were going to be. Like if you buy the top of the end perfect grade, they're like 300 bucks.
Hmm.
I have way more than 300 bucks of stuff that I've bought in the past. So that price doesn't necessarily scare me. It does, but it doesn't. Um so I bought like an entry grade, which is like the learn, you don't even need clippers, you just press it out with your thumbs. So I built that with my son because I'm like, here's the sheet, where's the piece, press it out, help me put it together. And I did that in like 45 minutes, and it was a really enjoyable process. This is where the problem comes in. I enjoyed it a lot. Because I didn't need to paint it. It was the fun part of modeling, which is like putting it together like Lego bricks. And then it was well made model, so it wasn't like I needed to spend time like cleaning it either, because I know we both have built models even just recently. Even BattleTech has like mold lines that you gotta
Yeah.
like take off, or like Game Workshop, their models are nice, but you still have to do a lot of prep work
Yeah.
with it. These I just snap together and put it together. Like
Hmm.
sometimes there's little nubs, but like if I actually spent the time and cleaned it, it would be clean. So I also bought like this guy. I know nothing about it. I know nothing about Gundam. I don't know where this is from or what it's from. It looks like a Gundam. That's why I bought it. So I'm gonna start working on that, and I think this is gonna be a completely new venture of hobby for me because it's mainly going to be the building aspect of it instead of the painting aspect of it. And while I like modeling, like, Battletech and Warhammer type figures, the painting of it is actually the part that I like the least. Because blending paints and things like this and everything I'm watching, like most people just use airbrushes for painting it, but painting it's not necessary. Everything's injection molded and the proper color. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I'm gonna take my time and clean this model up nicely when I actually go to build it. And maybe I'm gonna start just doing a Gundam model every like let's say once every 2 months, 3 months, and just
Cool.
slowly work through it. I got the lower grade, so this is what, a high grade. There's a whole bunch of lingo to learn from that. So yeah, that those are kind of my hobby. I haven't really played any games besides with my son, and it's mainly just made up games that he's come up with, so n nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's kind of my hobby gaming progress for this month. So new adventures, did a lot of BattleTech painting. So yeah,
We'll probably be doing a lot more BattleTech painting in the next month or two also, but
maybe we'll see.
but that's a great segue, John, into our next segment, upcoming releases. And we are now in January. Tomorrow is a Friday, which maybe this will get released tomorrow, which would actually be kind of funny. Um, but January, we've got kind of a new format rolling out that we're going to do. We're piloting this year, at least first half of 2026, in terms of how we want to release videos. John, you want to start with that?
Sure. So what our thought process is for the most part, people watch things all at once. And the way we have been releasing it is we would release basically one episode of a series a month, and then it would just keep rolling out. But that's not how people actually consume media. So we're going to try to fight the YouTube algorithm a little bit, and we're going to be batch releasing things. So in the month of January, we're going to release all of our Hinterlands campaign that we had filmed up instead of like stringing it out almost to April. So we're going to just January is going to be all of the Hinterlands, which we're excited to show you. That's all done. It's all filmed. I've done all rough editing. Ken's going in and he's doing fine editing. So that's going to all roll out all at once. So we're excited for that. And then afterwards, we're planning on rolling into Aces. And then after that, we're going to roll into Madness. I think we have enough Madness fleets now.
Yeah, we have enough to do our series now.
So, if you would like to still submit, you can. You can go ahead and submit a fleet for that, and we'll then just whittle down which fleets we want to use. But we technically have enough. We're excited for Madness again this year. We're
Mhm.
changing it up a bit more because that's what we always do. We have our rules list. It's posted in Discord if you want to check it out, but it's similar to the previous one. And then for our random commander and objective choices, we've made a mini game to make it even more crazy because that's what we do. So it would be like we each get dealt three commanders. You chuck one because I don't want Ken to have Akbar, and then I hand my two cards to Ken, and he's done the same thing, and he's gotten rid of Sloan. So then I see the two cards that Ken had, and he sees the two cards that I have. So it's one of those Princess Bride things. I know what you know, and you know what I know, so I know what you know what I'm gonna do, and then we can just look at them for a second, and then we're gonna play the um in Legion. They have like a three card setup for like objective, terrain, mission, special, deployment, things like that. So we're gonna do that with the three different objective cards. We'll lay out like four, and then we'll go back and forth, eliminating objectives until we have an objective set. When the objective is set, then we have two cards. And I know what you know, and you know what I know, and I know what fleet I have. So maybe this card will be better, or maybe this commander will be better, or maybe my fleet would be better as first player or second player based on those objectives. So then I choose a cheaper commander that may not be in as much sync as this commander, but then I get choices. So it opens up this whole mini game that we play before we get to the game. Um, and then it kind of eliminates farm fleets because you're not designing a fleet to farm. If farming happens, because it would just be secondary to what the game state looks like.
Yeah, I'm going to be eliminating farming objectives when it's my turn.
Yeah, it's like gone, 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 gone.
Yeah. Uh, and with my luck, we'll get the one round where you happen to get two good farming commanders with a farming fleet, and there will be nothing but farming objectives up and down the row. So
To be fair, I would need three farming commanders because you get a toss one.
yeah. It
So
depends. We'll see.
yeah.
This
So
this will be fun and interesting. I'm looking forward to actually filming this
yeah.
set.
It's gonna be random. It's random, but then also controlled random. So it
Yeah.
should be a lot of fun. And then Aces is gonna be a blast, and Tinterlands, we're excited to see what you guys think of that. So
Yeah.
yeah. I think we only had really one or two releases this month because, like we talked about earlier, it was going to be a slower month. So we had our holiday special,
Hmm.
which we got out all of our big wedge-shaped things. So we were both Empire. The
Yeah.
rules were you had to have a superstar destroyer of any variety, and
Hmm.
I believe it was 800 points, right?
I think we played 800 points. Yeah.
800 points. Points go so big, so fast when you have big ships.
Yeah.
And then just duke it out. So, do you want to talk about your fleet building philosophies or
I
anything?
decided I wanted to do a full executor style scale. Ugh. Wow. Can you tell it's New Year's? Um, I'm on the right foot. I wanted a full-blown SSD, throw on all the trimmings and everything else, and really deck that out. Put Tarkin in there, and I had some great ideas for how I can work things through. I had an ISD 2 and two Victory 2s. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I honestly not expecting John you to take one of the smaller like 200 uh 220 point SSD. I figured you'd do the same thing I did and dump 600 points. Lo and behold, I was wrong. And but I will say it did take you a while to chew through all 33 hull points on the
Yeah.
SSDs. And honestly, I that is one of the things I think the primary reason I did it. The SSD with 33 hull points feels like an SSD.
Yes.
And the fact that the dice pulls out the sides are basically an ISD2 strong. Uh, and I am surprised your one interdictor did not just blow up and get vaporized instantly. I
Well,
came
I
close.
carefully maneuvered it so that
You
it
did.
wouldn't.
But still, a lot of firepower out of these things. And it's just fun to fly them at that scale. Tarkin did a lot of what I wanted Tarkin to do. So I was happy with it. Um, in terms of how things went. There were just kind of some dice rolls just did not go my way. And then they went your way with a couple exact count kills.
Yeah.
The structural damage card reared its ugly head once again. But yeah, I wanted to get a couple triangles out that aren't usually on the table, hence the victories. And honestly, when you only have 200 points, you don't have much choice.
Yeah.
So,
Um, you also got one of your favorite cards to finally work decently.
oh yeah, the heavy turbo laser turrets. And so that was one that I'd been spending a while thinking about because I used it a lot early on and realized this card is not doing much of any good. And then John finally showed me the wisdom of LTTs and XI7s. That said, I was sitting there looking at the dice pools and realizing that and this is kind of with the weird advantage. I knew I was going up against uh, Imperial fleet. So that kind of helped skew my use of this card.
And they had to be triangles, and every single Imperial triangle has a brace.
Right. So with the size dice damage that the SSD can throw, making you have to choose if you want to use a brace or not suddenly becomes a bigger deal. If you're only rolling what 5, 6 damage and it's a brace will knock one out and then you can redirect versus a brace knocks three down, it's can I really take two more damage and redirect? Yeah, I can. And your shields go down faster, but you can survive the hit. When I suddenly roll 9, 10, 12 damage and using anything but that brace now means you're taking another five, it becomes more of a strategic thought of, okay, my shields can take this, but I'm dead. So I have to do that, lose all my shields, and take a couple internals to keep my ship on the board. So it actually came into play probably about 3 or 4 times.
Almost
And
every single shot made me think.
and then your projection experts really and your interdictors and the rerolls is what kind of saved a lot of your ships.
Yeah. So for my fleet perspective, I've had to kill the monster before, so I just leaned into what I already knew about that. So my fleet, I decided I wanted more ships, so I went with the smaller SSD. So the SSD, I literally used it because this was the command edition, so it was literally the command ship, and it would be using the fleet um, cards. So what is the phrase? Concentrate fire? No, not that. That's not it. Why am I blanking on
Intensify
this?
firepower.
Intensify firepower. It would be using intensify firepower. I had two interdictors, which are one of my favorite ships just because of their utility. And then I didn't have very many points left, and I needed ships to actually do damage. So I went with ISD ones because I'm just gonna. There's no good place to be against a executor class Star Destroyer, but close is good. So let's move into close range.
And you
Um,
did.
and it's easy to because it's like half the board. So I did, and I had boarding troopers on it, and then I had overload pulse on the interdictors, and the one interdictor had price, so I could guarantee as long as I had shields, which it's an interdictor, so you should, I could make a crit happen and then flip all of your tokens. Um, and that's just good in general against big fleets like this. Um, because if you use an interdictor in an 800 point game or just overload pulse, you could overload pulse something. Sure, you can use your tokens once and in a 400 point game, you may not have enough firepower to make the overload pulse shot count because they're going to just spend whatever tokens they want and then it's just all red and they don't care.
Right.
But in an 800 point game, there's enough ships that can shoot that your tokens are gone. Like you lose a turn basically of using tokens and it denies them, so firepower goes in. So like even if you didn't have the Super Star Destroyer, if I were to overload pulse a normal Star Destroyer or one of your victories, like I have two ISD ones that are going to be shooting into it. That's a lot of dice that are being thrown, and you're like, I'm all red, and they're all gone, and then I'm dead. So it just gives you really good options. So I think I killed your executor in what, 3 turns because of
I
no
think it was
tokens.
returns. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was faster than I was expecting. I think we got to turn to end of turn two. There was minimal damage, and then turn three stuff was off the table. I think the
and it
game
just
was over in
stolen.
turn four.
Poof.
Yeah,
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 I think turn four was can your ISD escape? And the
yes, I
answer
think
was
so.
it could not jump over my SSD.
Right.
So yeah, it was a fun game. There was a lot of dice.
It was longer than we were expecting it to take.
Yes, well, each turn when you're shooting with like so many ships and all your ships had gunnery teams, there's like do 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 do. There's just a lot of damage and dice and things going around, which is exactly what we wanted for the episode. So
One of the things I did in the edit of this episode, there were a lot of times where John or I were just doing this, looking at the table. And I thought about leaving those in, and I said, nah, no one wants to watch this. And the episode was still 90 minutes long,
yeah.
which for us is almost twice the length that we usually have. But yeah, 800 points, double, that kind of fits.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. I think the only other things that we had released, we had an Into the Unknown spoiler
Hmm.
release. So that was exciting to get that information so we could share it with you guys. Um, I'm intrigued by the Cardassians
Hmm.
and more Klingons. It's interesting that so having just watched Next Generation, right? If you think about Next Generation, I never really considered this before, but who's the big bad guys in Next Generation? It was originally supposed to be the Ferengi,
Yeah.
and they made them into a joke. Like the original Ferengi is just so like cringeworthy. Like there's no way that this was going to be the Federation bad guy. And what I've learned from behind the scenes is that's 100% Gene Roddenberry overstepping writers and things like that to make them awful.
Hmm.
Because the Ferengi are interesting in Deep Space Nine
Yes.
when they weren't stepped on. But the bad guys were the Borg, who just came in a little bit. The Romulans did shenanigans, but they weren't like actually like ending the Federation or
Yeah.
starting wars. The Klingons did their own thing, and I actually enjoyed like the Worf like
Hmm.
Klingon politics aspect of that. But the bad guys, like the actual bad guys of Next Generation, are the Cardassians, and I never really considered that before. But like most of the end of the series, like some of the best episodes in Next Generation,
Dealt with
like
Cardassians.
Chain of Command, Cardassians,
Yeah.
everything to do with Row. Some of the best episodes were Cardassian adjacent, like what's the name of the episode? It's spoiler, it's one of the last episodes that Wesley Crusher's in.
Oh,
Um
that's where they go to the planet that's in the demilitarized zone. They want to move the Native Americans, and that's when he
yes.
meets the Traveler. The episode name,
But it's like one of the
yeah,
top it's in the top 10, 15 episodes of Next Generation. It's Cardassian adjacent.
yeah.
Like all
Well,
the it's
Cardassians
really
are in it. They do show up at the end shooting. So,
yeah. So I never realized that until this watch through that the Cardassians are kind of like the big bad guys in the end of Next Generation. Like Borg were there, but the Borg are like
my
such a small thing in Generation.
my last watch through of Star Trek Next Generation, I decided to, and this was a while ago, and I kind of want to revisit Deep Space Nine because of Into the Unknown. But I was watching everything in air date order. So I'd watch 5 episodes a week. So, kind of like pick my Monday through Friday episodes, just go through it. And I got to the point to where Deep Space Nine came out. And then I was like, all right, here's my next gen, then here's my Deep Space Nine episode. And it took about a season, but all of a sudden the Cardassians really started getting involved in next gen. And I think that was season 6 and 7. And yeah, well, that's where you get the episode with the 4 versus 5 lights. The basically the was it Lower Decks was the name of the episode,
Hmm.
where you've got you get your Lower Decks crew on the Enterprise, and that was a Cardassian direct
It
episode.
is.
And
Like I didn't realize like almost all of the really good episodes of Next Generation are Cardassian or
it
Cardassian adjacent.
they were really, really good, which kind of goes back in the narrative of Deep Space Nine, which is this really good story to it that took about 2 seasons to kick in. Because it was that final episode in season 2, the finale, where they blew up it was a Galaxy class ship. Someone in the comments
Ganymede
is going to tell me what it is.
is the Odyssey.
Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's where all of a sudden, oh, the Dominion's a threat. And I remember my first watch through of Deep Space Nine. I'm like, this is getting interesting.
Hmm.
But then you had the Cardassians involved there. No, Cardassians are a good enemy. The Obsidian Order, the way they go about doing things, it's like Romulans on steroids, but more militaristic. It's almost like take the Tal Shiar of the Romulans and throw in the Klingon desire to fight.
I I would describe it more of it's the Romulans without the secrecy because
They do hide a lot of it right in front of you.
they just do it right in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're not trying to sneak away. They're being um covert, I'll call it that, but they're not secretly covert. Like the Tel Shiar is like covert wrapped in secrecy, wrapped in covertness, wrapped in secrecy, and the Obsidian Order is not that. We're just going to make a terrible excuse about it, but we're still doing it, and we're not even denying that we did it. Like the Romulans would deny that they did whatever they did. The Cardassians
Yeah.
don't deny it. They just are like, "Oh, okay." But that's also the difference between their government types. So
Yeah. Yeah. I have to be honest, John, it's been probably 3 or 4 years since I last watched a lot of this because I'm working my way through Discovery now. So I'm on season 4, I think. So it's because I haven't seen the latest Discoveries, and I think there are still 3 episodes of Enterprise I've never seen. So I have to go back and rewatch those. But
yeah,
yeah,
that's on my watch list after Voyager, probably.
yeah.
But anywho,
All right.
so what I was saying about that is I'm actually really excited for the
Mhm,
Cardassians in Into the Unknown because of how they are now
mhm,
that I've ended Next Generation and I had this, oh my gosh, it's the Cardassians were the bad guys even in that.
mhm.
Um, So as soon as the Cardassians came on the scene, they were always the bad guys, and they were always this huge, not necessarily a huge threat because they were technically a minor power, but like the Federation stretched thin at that point from exploring so rapidly, and they can't protect like to protect their colonies and all the treaties that I it's just parts that I didn't pick up on, and I'm excited for them in Into the Unknown because they have a lot of like backstabby stuff from the cards that we got to see.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all the new interactions with that. So we're probably a couple months away from, maybe a year away from Glory and Zeal being released since Tensions just came out. And we've had an opportunity to open the box, look at the models, and that's as far as we've gotten there. But we're going to get to filming up those episodes in the hopefully not too
Yeah.
horribly distant future.
Yeah. Sadly, with focusing on hinterlands and aces, and then madness being just at that time of year, you know, um, Into the Unknown will probably be next, and we'll just do the same thing, and we'll just
Yeah,
probably play out the rest of this campaign and jump into the next
rising
campaign and get it
tensions.
done.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to that. It's just it's a really the game concept and the way it plays out, it very much feels like you are playing through an episode of Star Trek,
It
which is
does.
one of the coolest things because I don't think the closest I've ever seen come to that is Star Trek Fleet Captains, but that feels like you're doing a season of Star Trek in one game.
Fleet Captains is weird because okay, so what's that it's that game. It's actually it's like one of the top rated games. It's like the Cold War game.
Uh, I got to look over Twilight Struggle.
Twilight Struggle. Twilight Struggle, I've played once, and it was
Mhm.
a lot of fun. But Twilight Struggle requires you to know every single card that's in your deck and every outcome that can come from that, which
Yeah.
you can't get until you've played it multiple times. And usually, when you're learning it, you're playing someone that has played it and they just wipe the floor with you, so it takes the fun factor out.
Yeah.
Right? Really good game. I enjoyed it, but you needed to know every single card, and I don't have time to like study a game like it's a history lesson, and the game itself is like the
It
test.
is a history lesson,
It
actually.
is, but like I don't want to just take a test that I want to study for it if it's this much of a test, and that's what it is. And that's what I feel like Fleet Captain is. Because you have like 10 different decks that you have to know what type of cards, and then you blend them together and then you get to play a certain way.
Mhm.
And I've never been able to get to that point because like you pull it out like once every couple of years and you're like, okay, what decks? And you just starter deck again. It's just that's my problem with that game, and that's what keeps it from being more fun. That Into the Unknown doesn't have that problem because it's not like randomly picking decks to make things. Um, so yeah, that's my problem with Fleet. I have all of it, just it's just too much.
But yeah, we did release also our fourth episode of Into the Unknown, so that's out there. I think we have three or four more left in that first campaign. That was actually one of the last episodes we did. We did a whole bunch of Into the Unknown, and that goes back into that we were releasing monthly type episodes. And that episode got delayed about 3 months because Rising Tensions came out, and then we got spoilers, and then there was more Rising Tension stuff that we got to talk about. So yeah, that was kind of funny how that got pushed back and back and back just because of, oh, hey, something new came out. We need to put it in its
Yeah,
place. But that finally got out. So we got some new stuff that we got to do. And I know we want to change a little bit of how we're presenting our film style a little bit. So it'll become apparent in the next set of episodes for Into the Unknown.
yeah. One of this is just background in how YouTube and making filming does. Part of the problem is that one of the other reasons why we're switching to more of this format is it takes a long time. Like I don't know if you guys can see it. I think we talked about it, but the setup itself, it changes depending on what type of game we play.
Yeah.
So it's not like we can get together and film an Armada game, a BattleTech game, and an Into the Unknown game all in one day. It's just not feasible because the amount of time of breaking down, switching things over, moving cameras, repositioning, all of that, it just takes too much time. So if we're able to just do straight through and play everything, it makes filming easier. And that's what we decided when we were doing like the Hinterlands, because during Hinterlands, we were also doing other things like Armada at the same time. And we felt like we were wasting time and then we were jumping between game systems. And then when we came back, we're like, where were we? And we
Right.
feel like that has been part of the detriment for us playing Into the Unknown because it's a game that you should just play through. But like, I haven't now played it in 2 months. So when we go back, I'm going to have to relearn and reset up everything. And then we're going to jump back to Battletech. And then I'm like, what's this rule in Battletech? And then we'll get to Armada. And it's just jumping between game systems makes it difficult. So filming everything in once, then stopping, editing that, starting a new game system, I think it's going to be way smoother process. And then
That's
hopefully we,
another thing, our
yeah,
editing. Our editing changes depending on the game we're presenting also, just because of how we do things.
correct.
So I think in general, this will allow us to do a lot more. It'll streamline our production thing. And you are looking at the Ion Radio studio if you're watching this. It's John and myself, and that's it. So
Yeah.
now, if someone wants to start editing videos for free, leave something in the comments. We'll reach out.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
funny.
okay, I think that's it for what we released, what we
Yeah.
have coming in our hobby stuff. So, like always, if you want us to talk about a subject, because we literally can talk about basically anything, sci-fi related or not sci-fi related or gaming related. If you want to see us hit a topic, let us know and we'll check that out in future episodes. So, good to wrap.
Yeah, I think so. Because the next time we're going to be talking, we will have 2 or 3 episodes of Hinterlands released. So I think we're planning on waiting until that's out, and then we will talk about our Hinterlands experience. That'll be kind of the big topic of the next broadcast episode. But yeah, I think other than that, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it because there's a lot I want to talk about.
Yeah, same here.
We
Same here.
finished it like what, over a month ago now, I think.
Oh, we
It
had
was
it
in
finished
November,
in
right?
October, I think.
Was it
So it was three.
October?
It
Oh
was
man,
October.
I
Yeah.
have so much I want to talk about the experience of it. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to our next broadcast to talk about that. So
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. Talk about how we came up with our factions. That's going to be the fun story. So,
yeah. Okay. Until next time, I'm John,
and I'm Ken.
and you've been watching Ion Radio.